Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from whichever part of the world you're from. This is Kavita Ramchan from Life Success Coaching in Mauritius. I don't know why my hairstyle is not setting properly today, but anyways, what's more important is that I read you the chapter on the law of vibration and attraction. We are on this chapter in the book You Were Born Rich. All right, let's continue. Since the early 1940s, we have had at our disposal the EEG, electroencephalograph, which reads the electrical activity of the brain, and the ECG, electrocardiograph, which traces the electrical changes which occur during heart contractions. See, this is something that mostly, mostly all of us have heard about. EEG, ECG, we hear these terms. And nowadays we hear them more often because more and more people are getting heart issues or getting health issues, you see. So now we need to understand that if we are if these things exist, that means there has to be something to it, right? Therefore, vibrations are certainly not something new, which are new to us. Indeed, all of us have an awareness of them. However, the problem which we encounter is that the vast majority of people are not aware of the connection between their vibrations and their results in life. Most people are not aware. I was not aware. I was in that dump of depression, and it's only by changing my vibrations that I came out of it. It was such a huge comeback, such a quantum leap. I was like, what just happened? You get what I'm saying? So, this is something that is so important for people to understand, for you to understand. This is why if I am doing this work, is actually we can boil it down to the word vibrations. Because I want to make everybody understand how our vibrations are controlling everything we are attracting in our lives. And we can shift our vibrations just by thinking in a new way. It is unfortunately a very common sight to see people in bad or confused vibrations, busily attempting through force to achieve good results. It's never going to work. That is why Bob Proctor said when people were not getting results with the law of attraction, when the book The Secret came out, he wanted to know why are people saying that? Because laws are laws. They work. If it's not working, these laws are immutable. You cannot change them. You're either working in harmony with them or not. So when he wanted to find out why are people saying the law of attraction is not working, and that's when he discovered that people are thinking that it's the law of attraction that's the primary law. The primary law to the law of attraction is the law of vibration. And if we don't get that equation right, we'll pass our whole life in struggle, trying to get results, which are not going to happen until we don't change the vibrations first, right? Okay. Now, however, due to the negative vibration which they are in, they are continually being bombarded by all manner of negative people and situations, which by law are being attracted to them. Everything is happening by law. There's no rocket science to this. You are happy, you will only attract happy situations and happy people. You're sad, that's what you're going to attract. You cannot be in a negative vibration and expect positive results. It's not going to happen. Uselessly try, you will force it. It's not going to happen. Hmm? Which by law are being attracted to them. Consequently, at some point their battle must become overwhelming for them. That's what happens if people do not take control of their vibrations. Life gets to be very, very overwhelming. These people may be likened to a person who is jumping off of a building and trying to go up at one and the same time. This doesn't feel good. It feels like a yo yo. Sometimes you're getting ahead, sometimes you're being pulled back, going ahead, pulled back. And it reaches a point when you're like, oh my goodness, like nothing makes sense anymore. It's like tiring. Your battery gets drained. The result in either case would be equally predictable and equally disastrous. And something so basic has not been taught to us. I mean, yeah, people tell us you should always be happy. You should know that God is, if you're suffering, it's because of something you have done, maybe in your past life, or as you sow, so shall you reap. Why would I reap something that is not making sense to me? It's because we've not been explained this knowledge in a very scientific way, you know? Philosophy has its own side and it makes sense to some people, but to some, no. Like for me, I'm so left brained. I need logic to understand everything. So everything is energy, everything vibrates. For you to gain a better awareness of how you are to take control over your results, that is, to better understand how and why the thoughts and things come into your life as they do, you must go back to the basic premise with which we started. Namely, there is, in truth, no such thing as inertia. Scientists today support this thesis, and every new scientific discovery tends to lend even more credibility to it. See, science has discovered today what spirituality has been saying for the longest time. How do I know that? Because I've studied this when I studied 4 years of the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, and stuff like that. When I was studying that, it was making a lot of sense, but at some point it was not making sense. There was a missing link. And when I studied it scientifically, like a scientist, everything made sense, right? So here I want to bring your attention to something. If people don't know this, especially Hindus, because we are so confused with our religion, when while we were growing up, people would ask me, how come your religion has so many gods? You know, I didn't have an answer. I didn't know what to say because it was true that there were so many idols. So the answer now is very clear to me. And also another thing that people would say is like, why y'all have so much of idol worship? Let me give you the answer to idol worship today, because a lot of people don't believe in it, don't know. Like it doesn't make sense to the younger generation. It's not making any sense. So the idol worship, what is the reason behind it? I'll tell you. Idols are made out of clay, according to the Hindu tradition. And clay is something that will eventually merge. It's made from earth, it's clay. Okay? We're not supposed to be making idols with silver and gold and copper and stuff like that. It's supposed to be made out of clay. Now, the purpose of that is that when you are praying to an idol, you are standing in front of a point of focus of a deity because they represent the deities. What are deities? Deities are representations of vibrations that are specific to that deity. Let us take the deity of the law, deity Saraswati. She's a goddess. So Saraswati, goddess Saraswati, represents education, knowledge. Goddess Lakshmi represents wealth. If you see her photo, she's loaded with jewelry and she's like giving out money like that, you know. And they're all very pretty, the goddesses. So these are the different vibrations that exist in the universe. They represent the idea of knowledge, idea of prosperity, means wealth. And there are like so many goddesses, each one represents something. And that can only be expressed in the form of a vibration. Now, why we pray to these idols, we're not supposed to be praying to them all our life. We're supposed to start grade one, idol worship, so that we have a point of focus and we are focused on whatever we want based on the vibration of the goddesses. And then at a later stage, we are supposed to just close our eyes and be able to focus without the need of having deities in front of us. But most of the population have not understood that. Anyway, that's besides the point. Another thing is, if if we can see a god or a goddess in the form of an idol, which is made from the lowest possible material that exists, which is clay, what more in other species that have life? What more in human beings? If today I tell you, can you see God in everything and everyone? Can you? Or are you going to keep grudges with so and so and so and so and so and so? Who is being affected? Think. We really have to get to the science of spirituality to understand why, the why of everything. I was a very curious child as when I was growing up. I wanted to know everything about life. So I want you to think about this and think about how you perceive every single human being, how you perceive the animal kingdom, how you perceive the plant kingdom, how you perceive the marine kingdom. All these species have life. Even stones have life. Even clay has life, but it's the lowest form. But if you can see divinity in a clay as an idol, what more in human beings? However, by virtue of your free will and the many other mental factors in your marvelous mind, you have the co creative ability to cause vibratory changes to take place at your bidding in your life. At any point in life, the day you decide, because you have free will, that is our. Sometimes I wonder if we should have had free will, we should have been imposed the free will to choose. You have higher intellectual faculties as human beings. We are the ones who have that. A fish cannot create a laptop, a human being created a laptop because we have those higher intellectual faculties. We've been made to create and co create with the power, and we can change our vibrations. Now, the cause for our lack of ability to exercise this tremendous power for good is nothing other than our own ignorance about the law of vibration. It is something crucial for every one of us to start studying the law of vibration. The law of attraction is secondary. Which vibration your body is going to be in is going to be what will dictate what you attract in your life. Something so important. I hope you put it into practice as from today, because this is my mission to bring this education to everyone in the world because we were not given this education as kids. We are all victims, but we can change. It's not so easy, it's doable. And that's what I teach in my coaching business. That's the main thing I get people to understand. Because once you understand this, everything follows. So thank you very much for your attention, and I will see you on Thursday. Bye bye. Oops, I've gone overboard.